Coming to you from the great state of Wisconsin, this is a CS27 Studios production. You're listening to the Binary Brothers Podcast featuring Ryan and Clay. It's time now to open your ears and prepare your mind because life's too short to be constrained in black and white. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ryan and Clay.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Binary Brothers Podcast. This is episode 8, Not the Bot Awakens.
Not the Bot Awakens. That would be something.
I'm
so sorry.
I was so pumped before recording this episode because I thought I had a title for it. The Bot Awakens. Then you reminded me that episode 7 was Force Awakens, not 8.
Yeah. I'm very sorry, but it's the listeners need facts. They need accurate references.
I was so like that made my day.
I could tell that you were really excited about it. When you said it.
I was so excited.
Again, I'm sorry.
Apology accepted. We have a pretty cool show. It's gonna be dynamic. That's for sure.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you did. We're going to talk about the Boston Dynamic team and group and whatever they're called.
Whoever they are.
Society. Are they a society?
This is the Boston Dynamic Society.
We're going to talk about all the stuff, the craziness they're coming up with and doing. The latest on their ventures.
Yeah, they've been in the news a bit recently.
Yeah, and if I was a betting man, I would assume that we'd probably tangent off of that into some other futuristic type of topics. So
I'd say so.
It's sure
you can always expect a good tangent.
Oh yeah, especially with us.
And if you come to this show and you're expecting just linear and it's
singular.
You're not going to get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to end up talking about South Dakota.
Well, probably.
You know?
Absolutely.
And that's just because you never know what you're going to get out of the random link on Wikipedia.
I don't even know what's in South Dakota.
Dakota stuff?
And I've been there.
I've never been. So, I mean, you... On this show, you are the South Dakota expert.
Yes. That sounds awful.
Well, it's the life you chose by going to South Dakota.
Hey, I didn't choose it. My parents did. I was just a passenger in the ride of life.
It's the life that your parents chose for you. Much like an arranged marriage. I don't know. You just can't do anything about it.
I mean, you can.
No, there's nothing. Those are the rules.
Them's the rules.
That's just it.
I'm sorry, yeah, sure, but them's the rules, you know.
Not sure you know how this works, man.
Oh man! All right, well let's talk about some things before we get into our dynamic topic. Let's talk about what we're gonna start with things you're excited for, Ryan. We're gonna do that first this time.
All right,
I'm switching it up. We're dynamic here. This is a dynamic episode. The Dynamic Awakens.
You're not gonna get exactly what you expect. Because sometimes it's the last bot Jedi.
The last bot Jedi.
Sometimes
yes,
it's the bots awaken.
The bots awaken.
So, I don't have anything really planned coming up. My wife and I are talking about going on a cruise sometime soon.
A cruise.
So we got last year, I believe it was. Or 2 years ago, we went to the Milwaukee Auto Show. And when you go to the auto show, for anyone who hasn't been there, there's the first floor, and it's kind of like older cars and all your kind of cool stuff, your classics. And then you'll go up an escalator, and you end up on this floor, this level that is basically just all people trying to sell you stuff. So it's just there's sunglasses and sign up for this thing and do this thing.
So much swag.
It was just a lot of stuff. So we've learned to just kind of skip past that. But I think 2 years ago we went and we got to that middle level, and right away someone hit us in the face. Hey, sign up for this thing. or just sign up to win a free vacation. Like, sure, why not?
And you won a free cruise?
No. Oh. Well, technically, because what
that's the best kind of thing.
Is I don't know. They called us or something, and the idea was that we could book a vacation for free and get a bunch of other a 4-day vacation and get a bunch of stuff for free if we went to a timeshare presentation.
I was just gonna say this completely sounds like one of those timeshare things.
So yeah, it was a timeshare presentation thing. So the stay at this resort was free. We got 7-day park to park passes.
Yeah, you're never going to use those because you're going to be in timeshare meetings the entire time.
Well, so it actually turned out not too bad because we used like credit card points to fly down there. So we didn't pay that much to fly down there or rent a car. And we only had to go to like a 2-hour presentation, one of the 4 days. So we actually ended up, in my opinion, like it turned out pretty well. And those park to park passes, they tried to get us to buy more days so we could stay and use the passes for longer.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, lady, I'm taking what I got for free and I'm getting out of here. But yeah, so that was the thing. And so they just kept throwing all this stuff at us, like $200 worth of like dining gift cards and all this random junk in hopes that we'll buy this timeshare, which did sound attractive. But at the time, we're thinking of like buying a house. So right. I'm not trying to put down $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on timeshare point system. You know they do like point systems now?
I have no idea. I've never really been to a timeshare thing, and I don't really have I don't plan on ever entertaining the idea.
Well, to give you a rundown of the way it works now, it's not like buying a place in like one spot. You like buy into a point system and you use that to like book hotels or resorts or houses, stuff like all over the place. So I don't know. This
sounds awful.
Different, but like it.
I'm sorry, but it sounds awful.
Well, yeah, they want you to like sign up for seriously like $40,000.
Nah, I'm good.
You get these points like every year, and you can use them, upgrade them, and it's like it was all this complicated stuff. And what was super funny about it was during the presentation, it just seemed like the guy was really hung up on the fact that when you go to a regular hotel, your coffee maker's in the bathroom.
Oh no.
I'm like, whatever, dude. It's actually super convenient because it's right next to the water.
Next to the water, yeah.
But yeah, so another free thing we got was a cruise. So we're talking about maybe going on a cruise in the next month or so. So we'll see if that's going to pan out or not. So I'm pretty stoked about that if that happens.
Long story short, Ryan now owns a timeshare in Bora Bora. It was hard, man. It was like one of those things where it just seemed so. Like I went into it, and I honestly went into it 100%. Like, I'm not buying anything. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care anything. But he talked about it, and I'm like, this does sound semi-convenient. You are a darn good salesperson. Darn you.
Like, you did an okay job at this whole thing. But I just couldn't. Like, I don't know. One thing that got me is he kept saying. He kept making it sound like you would be a bad family member or like parent if you didn't do this. Because
the golden guilt trip thing?
Yeah, because like you sign up for it and your points and like your package and stuff is like transferable. So you can like will it down to people and like share it with your friends and family and stuff. And so he's like, you get vacations for everyone all the time, or do you want your family to like vacation where the coffee maker's in the bathroom?
I'll just get an Airbnb. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, dude. How often am I really like going all out for vacations?
First off, I don't drink coffee, dude, so that doesn't really bother me.
Yeah,
that's how those pyramid schemes get you.
Oh,
gotta be careful.
Schemes. Do a whole episode on those.
Yeah, I mean, once you get to my age and had a life experience, you'll understand.
Me?
Yeah, you. Mr. I have a timeshare in 3 locations now.
Here's the deal: is my timeshare is anywhere I want the timeshare to be because I bought points. Not a physical location.
These are internet points.
They're more valuable.
Virtual.
I'll just log on to the website and I say,
Bitcoin points.
Take 10,000 of my points and take me to Aruba.
Pack my bags, going to Aruba. See you later.
Go. All right, man. What are you excited about? You got anything coming up or anything that just happened?
I don't have anything coming up in the short term, but pretty excited. I haven't actually watched a whole lot of the Olympics.
I haven't either.
I watched it here and there, but it's tough when the time difference is so much. They're basically on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
So, like, I've seen highlights and stuff. I've tried to keep up with some things, but last night was the first time I really watched something. And, I mean, I was watching a Blackhawks game, and then I always do, like, recap videos on YouTube for them. So I was already up. And then the women's hockey gold medal game between USA and Canada was on last night, starting at, like, 10 p.m.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if that's what you caught, because I saw that on the news this morning.
So I watched that in its entirety. So I was up till like 2 a.m. doing that. But it
worth it.
It was worth it. It was a really, really good game.
Yeah.
So that was the first time the U.S. women won gold in hockey in 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nuts, and on the same day as the whole 1980 miracle of men's hockey, against the Soviet team. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, just seeing, it was crazy because it's been 20 years since they won gold medal, and Canada's their rival. In women's hockey, it's basically USA and Canada, and then there's a steep drop off among the other nations.
Like talent wise?
Yeah. It's not so much the case in men's hockey, but in women's hockey, that's kind of the case.
Oh, okay.
So these two teams they face off in the championships of basically the final game of every tournament or whatever. I think they've played each other, 10 plus times in the past year alone. So it's a rivalry for sure. But all the U.S. women's players are saying they gotta win gold this year, and so it was crazy because it went into overtime and then ended up going into a shootout as well, and it was tense. It was tense for sure. But seeing them win it, and then like the emotion, and everything on their faces, like they actually did it,
Yeah.
It was like, holy cow, I can't ever imagine. I will never be in a position like that where like I experienced that kind of high. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy because like I think the same thing when I look at it. Happens a lot in sports when people win, and it's just like you can just see it on their face, hear it in their voice, and it's just so much emotion. You can tell for some people like some people in sports, like football, because that's what I watch a lot, is you can tell some people are like more cocky and they're like, yeah, we won, and we knew we were going to win and blah blah blah. But what I always love is those people that have that emotion are just so like grateful and like excited about everything to reach the top, to be like the best at a thing that you're doing, like the thing that you love and the thing you do for a job, right?
Yeah. And the pressure kind of just being relieved, and then the elation and everything, just all those emotions coming together at once is, all the memories from, working so hard to get to that moment and then succeeding is very incredible. It's not something I really think about all that often, but in that moment, kind of seeing them celebrate, I was like, holy cow,
Yeah.
And there was another, I think the U.S., some lady won like the first cross country medal ever for USA.
Oh, really?
And I saw the replay, and I think she came back. She was like in third place. It was a group of like 3 people, and in like the last 100 meters or something like that. And she just turned on just everything she had left in the last 100 meters and passed the other two people and barely won gold. Got the first medal ever for cross country in U.S. history, and not only just a medal, but a gold medal.
But to get gold,
yeah,
that's like you just go down as just iconic. Like you're in cross country, you're that person now.
Yeah, and it was made better because in the highlight I watched, in the broadcast highlight, like the announcer was just like basically yelling like yes, just over and over, as they were seeing her like just like going and passing these people, and it became apparent that she's gonna win. Like you see other people who were kind of invested in it and understand the historical significance of it, and just understand, holy cow, this is crazy.
Something's really happening here, right?
Right. And I've said this before on our podcast here, but I like the Winter Olympics a little bit more than summer, just because they're just crazier events. They're unnatural events, right?
Yeah. So speaking of that, I had no clue that there was an event where it's skiing and shooting.
Oh yeah, the biathlon. Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
we're at the bowling alley last weekend, and that was on. And I'm like, wait, are these people skiing and then stopping and shooting and then just whipping these guns onto their back? Like they put the guns on their back so fast and just blaze off on the skis.
Yeah,
just like who thought of that?
Just the endurance you need to cross country ski that much. Like you're huffing and puffing, your heart's just going, and you have to try and settle it down to be able to shoot a gun and hit a small little target.
I can barely hit a target
away.
I can barely hit a target when I haven't done anything all day.
See that trash can over there? Yeah, I'm not making this shot.
Yeah, here's the deal: is I'm gonna miss it by a good amount.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, but yeah. So I haven't caught a whole lot of the Winter Olympics, but I'm gonna chalk that up just because of the time zone differences. But
yeah,
but that was a pretty cool moment, pretty exciting moment. And I'm not one of those guys that watches the Olympics or looks at the Olympics and is all obsessed with like medal counts and I want to have the U.S. win everything. Like I don't really care that much. Like I just want to see people like succeed. If they break a world record, that's awesome. I don't care what country they're in. That's an incredible effort.
You're one of the most amazing athletes to exist. Like it's like just loving sports. Like a lot of people are like, why do you care about watching like other football teams if you're not a fan of that football team? It's like because I like sports, or like I like watching football. Like I'll watch an O-line do stuff no matter what O-line it is.
Right. Yeah, and like in the shootout for the women's hockey game, this Canadian player, she did this just a ridiculous move. Like it's called like the Forsbergian because this guy Peter Forsberg did it in the Olympics many years ago, back in like the 90s, I think. And basically, she like dekes one way and then just like throws the puck out to the other side and just with one hand on her stick kind of like reaches and taps it in past the goalie.
Okay.
And it's just I can't explain it. Like I'm not doing it justice with this description, but it's one of those things where I saw the balls she has to do that in a gold medal game, like, and succeed at it. Because the thing is with these women's hockey is because it's USA and Canada as kind of the two powerhouses, and then everyone else is kind of a big step down. They don't really get into the shootout a whole lot, if ever.
Yeah,
it's very rare for them to get into a shootout from games. So they when was the last time they actually did these moves not in practice?
Right.
And it doesn't matter how many times you do it in practice, it's not the same.
It's never gonna
never the same.
Turn out just the same.
But she does it, and she gets the goal, and at that moment I'm just like, it's Canada, and obviously I'm rooting for the United States, but I'm just like, I think Canada just won. I don't. I don't think the U.S. is gonna win this. Not when they're doing stuff like that.
When they're doing basically backyard stuff, right?
Yeah, but then the U.S. What's her name? Lamoureux? I think it's Lamoureux.
Monique Lamoureux?
Monique Lamoureux just her shootout goal to win it was just basically just as nasty. It was it was absolutely ridiculous. The skill. Now it's not like an NHL level skill. You got to kind of go into it, thinking that it's not going to be the type of hockey you're looking at in the NHL, but it's still very high quality hockey. And the skills they made in the shootout there, both Canada and the U.S., was very, very impressive. It was a really, really good game. So I was super stoked about that.
Yeah, I like I said, I saw it on the news this morning, and I didn't see like any highlights from it, but it's like people pretty excited about it. The guy from Fox, the weather guy, he's from Canada. And I guess his daughters play hockey in general, so he was all excited about it before he did his forecast, which he apologized for the weather, which I thought was hilarious. Because one, he's Canadian, but two, it's like you're just telling us what it's going to be.
You have no control over it.
It's not your fault.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, she got it.
Yeah, you got it. You betcha. Yeah, so that made it worth staying up till like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Last night. That was fun.
I would say. I mean, to watch something epic like that, make some history here.
Oh, yeah. So, I have been listening to some new music lately.
Oh, you got some new stuff?
Well, I mean, it's not really new, I guess. It's like 2015 or 2016 new.
Oh, that's new enough.
But new to me.
What did you find?
I found I was playing a hockey game last weekend.
Yeah.
And on was it Sunday evening? And I was driving home back, and I ended up having the radio on, and they played this song, and I was like, "Oh, this is a pretty good song. I'd never heard it before." It was like their indie sound check or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of thing they have. And so I kind of looked it up when I got back and kind of just went down that road of that artist. And it's a band called Churches, but with a V. Yeah, with a V instead of a U. Yeah, I'd never heard them before, but I'm digging some of their stuff. They're very similar to The Naked and Famous, which I really enjoy their music.
Yeah.
Female lead vocalist. Definitely indie pop rock alternative. I don't know. I don't know these genres anymore.
Well, okay, so I just looked them up because I wanted to like be reminded of, because I've been listening to Churches. I remember when their album did come out in like 2013, and I listened to it some, but then I haven't listened to them much. Learn to speak. I haven't listened to them much.
Learn to English.
Yeah. But yeah, I've heard of them before, and I think they're a pretty good band. Pretty good group. They're apparently a Scottish synth pop band.
Yeah. It's catchy stuff though.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's about.
That's where it's at.
Although the other day a coworker and me we were dreaming of the idea of a metal band that would just sing about pizza. Just straight up hardcore metal.
Hardcore pizza metal?
Give me a piece of metal. Pizza. Dun dun. Like, just ridiculous stuff. So if there's a band out there that can produce that, well, I don't know if you know pizza and a beer. Something like that. Yeah.
I think you've got it.
I think I could write the lyrics. I just need someone that can do double bass. Music. And I could probably strum a guitar with a lot of distortion.
Yeah, you could.
I could do
that.
Handle that. I just need someone to do double bass drums.
I don't know. I'm my wife's a drummer. We have a drum set in the basement.
There we go. We're gonna get together. We're gonna make this happen, Ryan.
I don't know if we can do the double, but
well, we can post that in. We can do 2 sets of singles, add them together. We got the doubles. That's how it works.
It's
pretty sure.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but pirate metal is a thing.
I actually do know that. It's just as funny every time I hear about it, though.
Swashbuckle.
Yeah.
It's my favorite pirate metal band.
Yarr.
It came up as like a joke when we were out for lunch at work one time, and someone brought it up, and we were all like, that's not an actual thing. And so we looked it up, and we all decided that we were just official Swashbuckle fans.
Nice.
So, but I haven't been listening to Swashbuckle recently.
That's unfortunate.
I can't always listen to pirate metal.
That's true. You gotta diversify your bonds.
Yeah, I gotta break it up. I can't just always be on the high seas, pillaging and plundering.
Right.
I have instead been listening to, and I feel like I've got a theme of these 8 episodes. I've picked a lot of this guy's work. Kendrick Lamar.
Ooh, all right. Okay.
Yeah. Some more Kendrick. Not just him, a bunch of artists, but Black Panther.
Oh, did he do some songs for that movie?
He did. He produced the whole album.
Oh.
He produced Black Panther, the album, so it's music from it and music inspired by it. So he's on every single track. He's credited with looks like 4 out of the 14. And then he's got on there, he's from a record label TDE, and there's a few other TDE guys on there. So some of my favorite songs on here by them.
Okay.
Schoolboy Q with 10, solid song in there.
Oh.
Ops by Vince Staples. I don't think he's TDE, but either way. Absol on there. The Weeknd and Kendrick Lamar did a song together for the movie. And that song was actually in the movie. I feel like I had heard elements of some of the songs in the movie, or they took elements from the movie and put it into the songs. Either way, but
sure, right.
But yeah, the "Pray for Me" by The Weeknd and Kendrick Lamar was in there. Actually, in one scene, they actually played the song outright. So solid album. I mean, if you like rap, it's a really good rap album. Listened to the album before I saw the movie, and then I've been listening to it more after I saw it, and I'm getting more of the themes out of it from the movie, and the progression of it, kind of matches up with what actually happens in the movie. It's a solid compilation that, he put together and helped produce. They reached out to him and said, can you do a few songs for the movie? And they showed him.
He's just like, no, but I can produce it.
Here's the deal. I'm going to do the whole thing. Apparently, yeah, they're like, here, watch some of the movie and do a few songs for us. And he saw the movie and he just, I guess, got really into it. Let's do this whole thing.
Doing it all.
So yeah.
Hold my beer.
Produced this whole thing, and like I said, he's on every track. Every track is, he's credited with a few of them, but whole good group of artists on there. I guess there's a couple new groups that I haven't heard of ever before, but I like their stuff. Solid enough that when I saw an ad come up, or he posted something on his Instagram or somewhere for a pre-order for a bundle of it's a t-shirt and the album on vinyl and a digital of the album and a cassette of the album.
Wow, what a wacky bundle.
Right, it's a bunch of stuff together, and I was like, I would love to own this album on vinyl because I've been collecting vinyls now.
This would make a great addition to my collection.
So yeah, pick that up. Been listening to that. I would suggest it for anyone who's a rap fan. I would also very much suggest the movie for anyone who's a movie fan, a fan of the Marvel movies, and actually for people that are looking for something different from a Marvel movie, I guess. It was refreshing. I know we've talked about it before.
That'd probably be my cup of tea then, because I'm definitely, the whole superhero movie thing is it's overplayed. It's welcome for me.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, and it like you said, we keep doing a lot of like similar things, or like a lot of the same settings, and this movie was different. Like, if for no other reason than it was like mostly set in Wakanda, and it's where Black Panther's from, and it's just a new setting. It's a new way they're super advanced place, and they just they got to have fun with all of what tech they have and how stuff looks there and all this junk, and to not be like blowing up New York for the 12th time.
Yeah, right.
was refreshing, and the cast was great. Classic Marvel humor. The villain was a different type of villain, and I realized that when I watched it, but I realized it even more after reading an article about it this morning. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone, but it was a good movie. I'd say, I think you should.
I'm sure I'll watch it before the end of the year.
Yeah, you'll catch it at some point.
So, well, all right. So we got about a half hour left to talk about some main topic goodness.
Oh yeah,
dynamicness.
Some Bostonians.
Some Boston.
Tom Brady. Where's your wicked Boston accent? You ever see that video?
Maybe. I don't know.
There's a video, I think it was like Funny or Die.
Is it the same guy that is it like the same video that just wrecked that Apple commercial with the girl who says, "What's a computer?"
No.
Do you see that one? You know what I'm talking about? Like that.
No.
Oh, the guy. It could be the exact same guy, like the guy with a kind of a Boston or Northeastern kind of accent. And she's like, "What's a computer?" He's like, "You know darn well what's a computer." He's out watering his plants, and he just sprays her iPad with the hose.
That sounds hilarious, because I've always thought that about that commercial. It's
such a dumb commercial.
It's like, just shut up.
Yeah, right.
Like, if she's of an age where it's not like you're setting this in the future, you're setting it as today.
Right.
Nobody doesn't know what a computer is. Like, we're far off from that, Apple. Like, calm down. And like, if we're gonna be technical about it, an iPad is a tablet computer. So
yeah,
I'd just shut up.
But
I have to find that video now.
You definitely do. But these Boston Dynamic people, they actually their latest video I think came out right when we recorded our last episode 7.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we ended up watching it kind of right before, but we didn't talk about it. It wasn't really our main topic for that episode. So we're hitting it now.
Yeah, we're getting back around to it.
Yeah.
So their newest guy is it's another kind of dog robot.
Yeah, their newest robot. They're making robots.
They make these awesome robots that are just, they're programmed to do stuff, but they apparently work pretty autonomously. Like, they have a job to do, and they just go about doing it, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, so, it seems just like yesterday that I was kind of seeing these robots for the first time, and they had this robot kind of dog thing that was just like hooked up to a bunch of wires, and just they're doing tests. They're having it run like on a treadmill. Yeah, it seems just like yesterday that was like the progress of that robot, of this robot, I guess.
Yeah, it's like that's where they were.
Yeah,
is something huge directly hooked up to something and only walked in one spot.
Yeah,
but it was doing stuff.
And then 2 weeks ago, basically right when we shot our last episode, they come out with a video of 2 robots. Not just one, 2 robots. And they're not hooked up to anything. They don't have any wires. external wires. They're very clean looking, very dog-like without the head.
Yeah.
And there's two of them. One dog's just kind of like just there, kind of like, hey, I wanna kind of go this way, but there's a door in the way.
Yeah.
And then his friend just comes along and is like, hey, I got you, bud. And
I got you, bud.
He's got a little arm for a head.
Right? Like the one didn't have a head.
Yeah.
But the other one's like, I've got this huge arm that can...
Yeah. I got the upgrade. and opens up the door, and then they both kind of scamper into the next room.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh god, they can open up doors now.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I keep thinking every time Boston Dynamics the joke of, do you want Terminator? Because that's how you get Terminator. But yeah, it's funny. Like I'm kind of watching the video again a little bit now here, and it's the first one comes up and is like, yeah, I can't do anything here. The other one comes out of nowhere and just like it kind of like squares up the door.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And it's like looking at it, and then like someone that was maybe carrying something and only had one arm to kind of like open a door. And it's like so crazy because it not only grabs the handle and turns it, pulls it open, then it like swings its arm in front to hold it open, but then it holds it open for the other one.
Right.
And then when it goes through, it doesn't just like very clumsily let the door go and let it hit it and stuff. Like it makes sure that it can clear the door before it lets go of the door.
Right. So
and the cool thing that I kind of read about this was they lined up the robot in general. They're like, hey,
right.
here's your objective.
Here's your path. Go that way.
Yeah, but then it was apparently just running completely autonomously. It's just like I can assess this situation and figure out what to do.
Yeah, that's nuts. And then not only that, so if that wasn't like cool or scary enough, just recently, I think this week, they released another video of these same two robots, but this time one of the Boston Dynamic people is like trying to prevent it from opening the door. He has a hockey stick in his hand, and he's like basically preventing the arm from getting to the handle and stuff, just trying to just get in its way and everything.
Yeah.
Like close the door right when, it thinks it's got it open and stuff like that.
Or like slapping its hand off of the handle and stuff. Like just messing with it.
Being a dick.
Yeah. And it's...
You want the robots to hate us? This is how you get them to hate us.
See? This is what I'm talking about. Boston Dynamics, you guys.
I thought you guys were smart.
You want Terminator? Because this is exactly how you get Terminator. I mean, the guy's yanking on the robot. And if it ever develops any type of feelings, it's going to be pissed off at you guys. First of all, you're putting doors in its way.
Yeah.
And it just wants to hang out and open doors, and you're yanking. It's just the whole thing.
So the robots can now persevere through obstacles, basically.
It's like
I mean, what's next? What's next, Ryan?
I mean, soon you're gonna have these robots, and then you're gonna put AI in them, and then it's all over. That's just it. And I always made or still kind of make this joke about Google being Skynet.
I mean, it basically is. Just
because they have like all of the information, but like Google used to own Boston Dynamics.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they used to own Boston Dynamics, and I don't know when they gave them up or sold them or whatever, but they sold them to a Japanese company, SoftBank.
Okay.
But like they own them now, and it's that I just think it's funny. Like with Google owned them, and they're making these robots. Do you want Terminator? Mm-hmm. This is how you get Terminator.
Maybe that's why Google sold them. They're like, we can't have both these things. Maybe they saw the writing on the wall. They're like, no, we are essentially Skynet, and it wouldn't be right.
We cannot be responsible for this.
Right.
Like it's really fighting this guy. Tether.
Yeah.
On its back, and he's
like yanking on it.
Yeah. And I think it's super cool, and I've watched videos before, of some robots. I think some of their other robots, like one of their robots was trying to stack some boxes on top of each other.
Oh.
It was one of their like two-legged ones, and these guys don't.
I think I know what you're talking about.
They don't release videos all that often, so it's actually really
every now and then.
We got two videos basically back to back like this.
Right.
But that other video where it's a robot that's on two legs and it's got a box and it's trying to stack it on top of another box, and it's just ultimate fail because like it doesn't lift the box high enough or something happens and it gets thrown a little bit off balance.
Right.
And then like it not only drops the box it was carrying but falls and knocks over the other box and like all this stuff. And I just think I've talked with some friends about it, and it's like you kind of feel bad for these, like you kind of feel bad for these robots in a way.
Yeah.
Because like they're just trying.
They're trying the best they can, man.
Right, like this one, like that dog robot, the Spot Mini, is struggling against this guy, and you're like, let the little guy go.
Yeah. Poor little feller.
But I don't know, how do you feel about, like, do you get those same kind of like feelings like when you see that kind of stuff? Like, I'm not like overly like, leave the guy alone.
Yeah, like I mean the way these robots are acting, I guess there's a kind of there's obviously signs of life in them, like just the way they're moving and acting, right? Because we're programming them, beings with life are programming them,
right? And we're like making them mimic how actual things in life work.
Yeah, so it's just you get that kind of sense from watching them, but yeah, the next video they're going to show is the guy's going to be pulling on that tether on the back of that robot, similar to like if you ever like pull on a tail of a dog or something, or grab a tail of a dog, the dog kind of isn't too happy with it and he just kind of looks back or kind of snaps or something.
Oh yeah.
That's what's going to happen with the arm of that robot. It's just that arm head is going to come back and just snap at the guy. He's like, hey, knock it off. I'm trying to open this goddamn door. Knock it off.
I mean, imagine if they programmed to just be like, do whatever you have to get this door open. It would freak out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm not worried about a robot uprising though.
Nah, not at this point.
Not at this point.
I mean, at the rate we're going with, these. I mean, the robots are cool and all because they can do stuff, but I mean, you'd have to imagine loading once someone gets like a legitimate AI.
Yeah,
on something.
That's when things will change.
And I remember back in college, I had to go to a presentation that this team was doing for AI. They were building an AI, I think it was called Eve. I don't remember when it was supposed to go live, but they said that was one of their challenges, right? Is that you build an AI and it learns basically like a child. And they're like, they become like people, but they're not like physical, like tangible people. So I don't know. It's one of those weird things to think of. I mean, one day we're going to get there where we could put an AI in some sort of robot. I mean, for now, we're not going to end up with, Blade Runner stuff because we don't have the technology to make robots look that much like people.
Right.
But I mean, I'm excited for that kind of thing just because I want to see, what it's like and how good us as people can do at replicating what people would be in like circuitry,
Right. Turning something that is inanimate into life, essentially. It's just crazy the progress that they've made and the progress we've seen through these robots and stuff. It's nuts.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. The name of these new robots are the Spot Minis.
The Spot Minis.
And I think that's because they had that bigger version before.
Oh yeah.
Right, and that was probably the one that you had like originally seen on the treadmill.
Yeah,
and it's like huge, and it's supposed to be like a pack mule type of thing, and they designed it to be, used with like military and stuff, but they actually rejected that robot as like a pack mule robot. Apparently, they said it was too loud.
Yeah, I could probably see that. Mechanical things are very loud.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah, they were like, it's great at carrying stuff. It's fantastic, but like it's gonna give away where we are.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I just wonder if they're gonna be able to. I'm sure they will eventually, but
yeah, it's
to be able to make it like just a sneaky, quiet, big pack mule robot.
Sneaky little guy. That's when they become scary. You can't even hear them. Never saw him coming.
The smaller and quieter they get, the more creepy it's going to be, man.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool kind of futuristic technology things happening recently. I mean, it just last week or 2 weeks ago or so, I guess probably right around the same time, frickin' SpaceX launching their Falcon Heavy rocket and then landing 2 of their boosters simultaneously.
That was
one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
And that's like...
It's unreal.
It was nuts. Like, I didn't get to see it live, but it was just amazing, like, watching the video afterwards. And I didn't think I was going to get that excited about it when I watched it. I thought this is going to be cool.
Right. You're like, oh, this is kind of neat. This is cool.
The further and further it got into the video and just showing everything that was happening, the cooler it got. And then that epic point where you retweeted a picture of it.
Yeah.
With both of those rockets landing simultaneously. And that's just like one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and just a marvel of technology to have those attached to something, detach, come down, and land at the exact same time and so gently. It's nuts. Like, hats off to those people over at SpaceX for all the stuff they're doing, because they're pushing all this stuff forward.
Yeah, and that's another one of those things where you see basically in all these launches, like all the people that have worked on these projects. It's very similar to the jubilation that you see from the Olympic athletes when everything they worked on just succeeds. And
yeah,
like just the smiles you see, and I like many years ago when NASA landed a Curiosity onto Mars with the frickin' sky crane thing, and there is the live feed of NASA's mission control, and just people are just like fist pumping, jumping for joy when they got word that it actually landed successfully.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you're essentially at the top of your profession. You're breaking ground. You're doing something historical. It's our generation's not, we weren't around to see the first men on the moon. We're probably, well, I guess I can't say that, but it'll be interesting to see if we get a chance to see like the first people on Mars.
Right.
So these types of things, this is kind of our moments in this whole kind of spacefaring thing. Seeing the evolution of these rockets and just breaking ground. That's what like Felix Baumgartner did a couple of years ago. Just jumping out of a frickin' stratosphere balloon, skydiving out of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you said,
things like that. It's like just inspirational, really.
Yeah, like we're not in a period where we haven't seen like some like huge, amazing, like life-changing innovation, really, I guess. And it's super cool to see us making progress in areas like this, like SpaceX is doing, to, you know, maybe push us towards, like you said, getting to Mars is, I mean, with today's technology, not feasible, but I'd say in our lifetime it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, just the amount of progress we've seen in the last decade alone is insane. Just our whole tech, you know, last 50 years or so, basically, of technology, especially since we've had the internet.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why having a free and open internet, net neutrality hashtag, is so important. But like, just the amount of innovation and leaps and bounds we're going by since then, you know, it's not a linear thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we very well could see it in our lifetime. It's really hard to judge, though, because you never know. Maybe next year there could be some sort of huge breakthrough that you know, just jumps our technology 50 or 100 years somehow. You know, it's you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but it's definitely exciting time seeing stuff like this. I mean, like you said about the celebration, being excited, similar to like sports with their achievements here. I watched a behind the scenes video of the launch with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And everyone in that room was just super excited. Like, they were jumping up and down and all this stuff. And Elon Musk was like, holy flying shit, it's actually going.
Well, yeah, they were saying like it's a 50% chance this actually works.
And he was just like amazed. And then like he was just so flabbergasted that someone had to like actually like grab him and be like, let's go outside to watch this thing.
Right.
I mean, and they went outside. It was just like super, super cool to see all those people, like the relief, the excitement, and you could just see it on his face, especially just like he was super excited about it. And it's, I don't know, the guy is trying to do a lot of things.
Yeah, he's a geek that is living out his sci-fi fantasies, that's for sure.
And it's all the more power to him.
It's awesome. I love that guy. Like, SpaceX just had another launch yesterday, I think. Just launching some satellites, you know, into orbit, but they try to catch the nose cone of the rocket in this boat with a huge net. Who does that? Who thinks of that? Like what? It's and it's funny because Elon posted a picture on Instagram of the boat with this huge freaking net.
I'm looking at it right now.
And he responds to some of the comments in there, and somebody asks him, he's like, "Will this work?" And he's just like, "I doubt it."
I doubt it. Yes.
And then he follows up. He's like, "Well, I mean, it might work."
It might work. Like, well, you never know.
Like that's not something CEOs of companies say. You know, like he's just a completely different breed of a person. He just geeks out about everything and is realistic about stuff, and he's just not afraid to really say that stuff. He's not like, right. Oh no, it's totally gonna work, and you know, it's gonna raise our stock price by 4%. You know, it's gonna be good. Our revenue is gonna go up this quarter and stuff like that. Like, I mean, he has those calls, because Tesla's a public company, but
yeah,
SpaceX is private, and I hope they kind of stay private.
Right.
But he's not your typical like CEO or chairman of a company. He's, like I said, he's a geek at heart.
Yeah,
and it's so fun to root for the stuff he does, or the stuff he's a part of, because he makes these things fun. Because they put a Tesla car into space,
and it was funny because you saw how they posed it too, right? Like they posed it in the seat like it was cruising down a highway.
Yeah,
like its arm, it had elbow on the window,
just
all
chilling.
That stuff.
Got the top down, going for
just
a
like
Sunday drive in
SpaceX.
space.
He's not trying to like impress anyone.
No, he's trying to just advance. The goal of SpaceX is to get to Mars,
right?
And that's all he really cares about. Obviously, they have to get government contracts or NASA contracts and stuff like that to keep building and innovating, because money is a thing.
Right, because you kind of need a little bit to.
You kind of need it, yeah. But it's crazy the things these people are able to accomplish, and it's a nice escape from all the other stuff that's kind of going on in our world. Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff happening these days, and it's not anything that should be ignored, but like it's cool to have the other side of things with this, where it's just people being like purely excited, whether it's sports because you're making history or you're doing something new when it comes to like SpaceX, and the dude's just like living his dream, and I'm sure everyone on his team is too. Like I'm sure they're all
everyone who's pouring hours and hours of work and making sacrifices in their life to do these things.
Yeah, and I mean, like I'm sure the guy from the video who was yanking on the robot, I'm sure he's
gonna get snapped at. He's gonna get snapped at.
There's no question about that. Everyone knows #robot snapback, but
hashtag it, get it trending. I believe in you.
But like, I'm sure he's very serious about what he's doing. But I'm sure he's excited.
Right.
He's excited that this robot is doing, exactly what they planned for it to do, right. Resisting him pulling against it and, finishing its primary objective of getting through the door.
Overcoming obstacles. Yeah, there's so much in life to be disappointed about or be sad about. But there's also so many things that you can look at and just get excitement from, and bring a smile onto your face. And
right.
And if I would have any advice for our listeners, our great listeners out there,
they're the best
around.
No one's gonna everything you down.
Yeah. If I had any advice for them, it'd be. Obviously, you need to be aware of the bad things that are happening, and try and find a way to make this place a better place. But don't weigh yourself down with it. Life can be hard. It's nothing is perfect. But there's a lot of cool stuff that's happening. There's a lot of things that are good in this world,
and I look forward to seeing more of those fantastic.
Yeah, the sun will rise tomorrow, unless the Tesla Roadster that hits it somehow blows it up.
Yeah, I mean that's a very real possibility. We've just thrown.
Gosh darn it, Elon! What have you done?
We don't know. He's just maybe this was his whole plan.
Oh no, he's the perfect evil genius.
We didn't know.
No, you didn't know. Never saw it coming. He's just sitting in his lair right now and just like laughing. Perfect.
I like that you said lair, and I feel naturally like he probably has something. He's got the Boring Company. He's probably.
You know what? I want to create a company. What am I going to call it? The Boring Company.
Boring Company.
This guy is ridiculous. I love him.
That's fantastic. I'm sure he's bored himself a nice layer or something.
And they sold a flamethrower,
which, by the way, is like legal to buy in pretty much every state.
Well, yeah, because it's not really a flamethrower.
But you can't use it in every state because like it depends on like your open burn laws and stuff. But it's just hilarious.
And that
is just doing the most random stuff. And the flamethrower looks so cool.
Well, it looks so cool. And it's way overpriced. But that's the thing. Like I think somebody why did they sell it? They were just like trying to raise money or something.
I have no idea.
And so like I follow him on Twitter and stuff, and he's just like, yeah, so we have the Boring Company flamethrower. We've only made so many of these. You really should not buy this.
Please do not.
Please, like, this is dangerous, but also fun.
You're gonna want this.
They sold out. I mean, it sold out within a day,
like right away.
Within hours. I think those flamethrowers sold out, and then and alongside it, they sold overpriced. With brand named Boring Company fire extinguishers to go along with it.
That's amazing.
and then there was like people who bought this flamethrower were having troubles with it clearing customs because they were out of the country.
Yeah,
and like you can't get flamethrowers through customs, and so he was like, well, we're going to then change the name of this to the not flamethrower.
Yeah. We'll just go ahead and that'll be fun.
Like, I don't know. This guy he's just awesome.
He's all over and I love it.
Yeah. So I think, barring any last words, Ryan.
I don't think I have any. I think
we're pretty much out of time.
We talked about a lot of stuff.
We did. We went on a range of things.
We did go on some tangents, as promised.
Yes, you can always expect that from us. But this was a very dynamic show in terms of content, I think.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't the Bot Awakens, though.
No. Unfortunately, there were no Bot Awakenings.
I'm so pumped for that title.
My
entire ride home from work, I'm like, that's going to be the name of the show. I know it. And then you go and ruin it for me.
I did. I ruined it.
How dare you? Be accurate with your knowledge of
next
things.
time I'll just let it slide.
That's probably for the best.
I'll let the fans comment.
Oh. That's always a good idea. That's it. I think we're done here. So
yeah.
Thanks for listening.
See you guys soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Binary Brothers Podcast. We can't wait for you to tune in next time. But until then, make sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and BinaryBrothersPodcast.com.